And that's all she wrote. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining tonight. Jill, Mandy, Bubba Sue, Torp, and I saw Monroe in here for a minute. What are you guys doing, man? So I've come up with an idea to do I think a Friday night live and then a Sunday afternoon thing. Those are going to be the two audios on here, if not like other days. But I'm going to pick two and kind of get those working. I've worked out all the kinks on here. I've got music preloaded up. I've got all this stuff ready. So I'm ready to roll. And I want to roll through a couple things today. I'm just kind of, I'll definitely like let it be known when those are going to be, because I think that that'll get people's piqued interest to jump on here. That doesn't mean there won't be other ones that just randomly happen, but those will be a little more planned out, still open for whoever. And Mandy said she'll be back, but she is already on here. Torp's on here, but he's muted. And yeah, we got some topics to cover. First, I want to go through I just kind of want to run it through in my own head so that I've got my notes correct for Gary tomorrow and I, because I want to get this right out of the gate and make sure any questions are. That's why I'm glad Torp is here. Maybe he'll have a question about this for tomorrow, so that we make sure to get these steps correct. Because I did have a couple people email me and say, well, could I just, is this something that I can just do? Can I just go to Chat GPT and drop and say, hey, based on Colorado Senate bill and based on Colorado House bill, can I just say, based on those, can you create? No, that's where Gary ran into the problem. So when it did that for Oklahoma, for his state, there was labor codes that, because it's written, you'd think Chat GPT has this down, but it can't counter. If you're handing in something that is already a finished product and saying, I want this as a bill in my state, it's not going to be able to check, even at its speed, every piece of labor code and understand it. Not that it can't understand it. You just have to get very specific. Like Gary was showing me, and we'll go through it tomorrow, some of the things we had to look at in Oklahoma that were different in the labor code than here. So like Torp is here. Torp is going to take it in Kentucky. And then we know we got a couple of other Kentucky people too, who like I was saying to Torp before, it would be nice if behind every person who does it, there is a group of people, other drivers, which we know there is. We just need to really start putting it together. We had an amazing database. I have asked David for it. I don't, when Para turned into GigSafe, all of the records were purged because the company that had bought Para, which still is Para Team and all this, it's a little extensive to explain, but I did ask David. But what I can point out is like when Para was done and changing to GigSafe and making a complete 180 in what they're going to do, Gary Middleton with Gary's apps, his filtering apps, was like, dude, Steve, before you leave, get me the API settings for Uber and Uber Eats. And I was like, okay. I thought that was gonna be a no-brainer. I went to David, and David, like, David's awesome. He was like, shit, dude. He's like, we can't touch that anymore because all of the data has been turned over to the lion's share of the company at the time. And I don't know if you guys saw, but there's a lot of things. If you do catering, by the way, there's a lot of things that have shifted in catering around all of this. So like, I think you guys all know, I've had them on the podcast before, but I have met both the Chris's before from Delivered. In fact, I've met Hef twice in Austin when I was working with Paraworks. All those people are in Austin. So I would see them all the time, coming by the Para office or whatever. But I'd met Heffernan a couple times, and even other Chris Barnes that we all love. So they just recently switched to, what is it now? Delivered is now called, Bubba Sue will know, she'll put it in there. I'm just drawing a blank. But at the same time that's happening, they're Expedite, thank you. But at the same time that's happening, GigSafe is taking over so many parts of, it's confusing to me, and I've talked to them. they're taking over so many parts, not just the onboarding of actual data management and other things, that it's really, I never loved the name Delivered, but whatever. Actually, it sucks that they changed it to Expedite, because after all these years, I had finally gotten used to Delivered. I thought it sounded good. At the first time I heard it, it didn't really stick on my tongue, but it's grown on me. And now it's Expedite. It's like, that sounds more like a curry app or one of those that I'd do. So it's like, you guys made it even weirder. And then now it's like, well, GigSafe's on board and they've got another secondary name. It's just getting a little confusing. But luckily, this is something I can say. I cannot tell you guys how it'll turn out, but Giggy. That's right, because I was even saying to Jimmy, I was like, giggity, giggity. I mean, they should have just called it giggity, like, but yeah, so GigSafe is Giggy, and Giggy will be running or helping run what was Delivered that recently became Expedite. So what a clusterfuck. And here's what I can say though to all of you guys, is that we don't have to worry about this one as much as like another company, because I mean, at least me, I can tell you in my personal opinion, I don't worry about those players at all. The only thing I worry about them about is like tripping over each other's shoes and like screwing something. If they screw something up, it's not to hurt people. It's that they literally screwed something up. But then they have coders and stuff that, I mean, between the two companies, they really should have a good team here. And GigSafe has got the power to go, as many people as they need. So it's, yeah. It's like I said, luckily, if this were any other company that both kind of had like, GigSafe had created Giggy as a subdivision and Delivered had just changed its name and they were merging and I didn't know anybody, I'd be like, what the hell is this shit? But I'm not concerned because of all the players involved I know, and they're all good people. So will there be some hiccups? I'm just going to guess and say probably, because if there's not, it's kind of just a miracle. But yeah, that's really what I've done. So I want to go through the steps though. For tomorrow on the conversation is Gary Middleton. And as you know, Gary, and I mean, like, so, back to it though. When Torpan's in his state, we have some other people who are in Kentucky and we're finding even more, who are drivers who just need to be approached, basically. We just need to kind of reach out to them and say like, I was even thinking about, and I want to ask Gary about it because he'll have some views on this platform. I'm not a big fan, never have been. But there is it might be wise to get on Reddit and find Kentucky drivers. I mean, you could do it on Facebook and other things too, but then they'll get all over you for hitting up the groups or whatever. Michelle Sleet will probably let me on the DoorDasher group post anything like that. So as each state goes, she will probably let me post on her two groups, which total over 250,000 active users. So that would be huge, where I could put, hey, anybody in Kentucky that is a gig worker and doesn't want 120% of active time minimum wage, but instead would just like transparency, right to challenge wrongful deactivations, and secondary step or steps would be removal of all of the metrics, as well as, and this is one I don't mention enough, Gary and I will talk about it tomorrow, obviously, because I'll have Gary, but I mean, I always know it, I forget to mention it, is that the fourth thing that we ask for too, but you gotta know when to nudge enough. And so I think, starting off with deactivations and full transparency is the best, because that's easy to pull the removal of metrics in for a next voting session, especially once they see a little growth. But the other thing that we can't forget about is the right to use any and all third-party apps, because even as Gary puts it, and hopefully we'll say this tomorrow, the deal is that if that's in there, and it should be, because the ABC test, the first prong, says you must be free and clear from the hiring entity and allowed to use any and all tools at your disposal that you choose outside of the entity. So That needs to be included too. We had it included in ours, but we removed it and said we'll just readdress it down the app. But the hope, and I mean, obviously, Gary puts a lot of time into his apps and whatnot. But even for Gary, the hope is that the apps see if the apps fight that one too hard after you get the first two passed. If they fight that one too hard, that's a big problem, because then you have a judge looking at them going, well, wait a minute. So we've already solidified these other steps. Why can't they? I mean, mapping is the first perfect one, right? Why can't they use any map they want? And then the defense actually becomes, well, actually, it's really weird. So you can use uh you can use any app you want, for safety, or like Gary's being able to filter out ones you don't even want to see anything beneath a certain dollar or certain miles or over. What you have so many different things you can do. But the push from the judge would be like, well, of course that's allowed because it's right here in the independent contractor terms. But the push would then be back on them too. It would also be, I don't understand why you just don't allow sliders or some kind of functionality like that in the app. It seems like you guys are fighting a really stupid battle that showcases how much you don't care about the safety of your drivers. So again, it's something they need to treat very delicately. But in a first round, and I was saying this to Gary too, I think trying to get through the two first is the best way. Straight up, like, just get through full transparency to customer and to driver so that they have matching receipts. That way the state can conduct audits too, because up till now the state can't, because they can, but they can't trust in the data that they would pull from a server. I mean, can you imagine an audit for like a place like Uber would take like the entire FBI to seize everything in the building in under 2 minutes and remove all of the people in the building just to get an audit out of it. And even then, good luck. I mean, some of those programmers have those things so multi-layered. It could be like the old days of you know um uh gangsters and all that kind of stuff, and cooking the books. Remember the cooking the books era before digital, when it was like hand stuff and you had a second set of books? I mean, they could have 100 sets of books ready to go on a moment's notice, and just any person outside of the actual programmers would be sent down tunnel A. Oh yeah, sure. Here, go ahead, get into our server, and it would just like organically take them down a tunnel to the books they want them to see. And the bottom line is, well, we need them to know those aren't the books they need to see, and to be able to see the other books. So I'm going to put it as two steps. So step one is, I mean, I have other notes too, but step one is transparency. And I mean transparency. You guys know how I feel about it. That one has to be number one always. And then human review of deactivation. Those both have to happen in one fell swoop, or else there is a way for, and we saw it here in Colorado, or else there is a way for some of the people in bed with those companies to make sure that those don't appear in future bills. And again, it's weird. I'm not calling lawmakers stupid, but they just don't know what we're dealing with here. They're just not that familiar. They really don't. They're kind of like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. It's like, no, I've only told you 10% of it yet. So don't get excited yet. You need to understand this. Step two becomes then full app removal of metrics. And by the way, those metrics, when I say full and all, those include the super legal ones that we almost never talk about anymore. Like, I still get them because I leave it on. And it stopped people don't tell me anymore, we'll just turn it off, dude. Like, because I'm not gonna, because I have my telematics on, because I want to see them. I take a picture every time that dumb company sends me telematics. It's proof for when I need anything to show these companies or an attorney or any of the lawmakers or anything. So full app removal of metrics, and then third party apps. And I know Bubba Sue said, what'd you say? He said, safety apps, but not bots. Correct. So bots would go against trade though. So bots would be, bots are illegal. Period. They're stealing data, even if you gave it to them. They're fraudulently using data to log into a server and send you groups or single offers or however the bot is set up. We've been through that a few times. I know the Bubba, so you probably even heard it. I've been, in fact, 2 different times with UDM on. I've been through that in detail because he knows people who use them too, and he wanted to understand them. I know once we fully went through the whole damn thing, but they're really expensive too, guys. The good ones. I don't know, like if it makes enough difference to make you that much money. I guess it must because people do it, but realize not only is it illegal, if you're thinking about it and going, well, wait a minute, can I make more with that? Realize that you are literally handing people your information in another country to log you in and get you things like your credentials, your password, all the things you know better than to give out. First of all, you shouldn't be doing it anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, but it doesn't, the problem is it doesn't just need to be safety apps. I mean, it could be yeah, it could be the apps that filter out the bad offers that you wouldn't take, so you're not sitting in an intersection and you take it or whatever. Yeah, sure, there we go. But it also should be the apps that like I was saying about mapping. I mean, you can, every one of these apps has in-app mapping, yet every one of these apps um, has, you can select a default or I mean, maybe there's not to all of them, but all of them that I'm thinking of, you can select another default mapping app. So you don't have to. I mean, it's like you don't have to, but then it gets really tricky, and we'll talk about this tomorrow more with Gary, because then it gets really tricky because if you read the TOS on any of them, it says that you cannot use mapping apps outside of the app. However, in all these apps, it says choose the mapping app you want to use. So, and again, they also know, I mean, like, I don't even know why that one's in their TOS. Um, I think it's just maybe to scare people if it ever got out, but nobody reads it anyway. But because, the way that their mapping app works, if you've ever wondered, if you're ever like, why am I going right down this main street when there's a faster way? I mean, like for food, I mean, maybe not rideshare as much. It does other things. It's not trying to do that. But with food, they're trying to send you down a main street and see if things stack another order on you. So that's why other maps will get you somewhere faster and better. But so we've got step one, transparency and human review of wrongful deactivations, and then that gets pitched as a bill, and then in there it says, also because there's a place to put like a forward thinking type part of it of the bill, and in there you put the other two. So we'll kind of go through that with Gary tomorrow, and his going submitted, and um, Lyft just removed third-party apps so that what? So that you can't use, so you can't through the app go to a third-party mapping system. That's even dumber. I don't know what Lyft is doing right now. Both of the co-founders have stepped down. I know it was to open up some of the shares for trading, but Lyft is a failure. I mean, let's be honest. When the pandemic hit, that stupid company for 2 years didn't even try and do food delivery, and their ridership went down to under 10% year to year. So, like March 28th, 2020, the CARES Act goes into effect. We're put on stay-at-home orders, and Lyft decides, or Lyft is like, well, we'll just ride it out. And they had, I mean, year to year, it's like 8% as many rides for the first year of the pandemic. But every other platform, I mean, most of them already had it, but nonetheless, they were going to shopping or food or something. I mean, even though Uber Eats already had it, it wasn't doing good at all. It was, I mean, it was just an extra, like, well, we have the app, might as well have it in there. And so, yeah, there's that. And by the way, guys, I don't, has anybody done the Uber Eats uh or the Uber rideshare Uber Eats surge thing in the recent. I haven't done rideshare in a while. I in fact I need to update my. I went to turn it on to just kind of. I like to turn on all my apps, and I'm not even on Lyft anymore, even though I had many lifts. But I still am on Uber. But I need to do a um, what do you one of the cars certifications. I'm at that point. I did find out there's one you can do from your phone. It takes about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, so I'm going to probably try that one. But once I do try that again, I'll let you guys know. If you're familiar with what I'm talking about Uber Pet. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Hello. Hey Torp, what's up, man? You on here? Torp might be out working. He's in here. I mean, he's up. He's even in the speakers, but he's muted. Oh, maybe he doesn't know he's muted.
No, I was just catching up with what you were talking about. You know what I mean? I had to do it. Oh,
Hey, what's up, man?
Bubba Sue was up there. I unmuted my mic and she's gone.
Oh no, it's Mandy. She's out working, and she'll come back.
Oh, no big deal.
Yep.
Well, big deal, yes, but you know what I mean. Not a big deal. It's like, oh no. But
No,
yeah,
Steven. I mean, I had that happen the other day too. Somebody came up, and again, a lot of people. It is the better way. If you're out doing gig work, this is the better platform because you're. Even if you say I don't watch it, bullshit. I've seen people don't watch YouTube and drive.
yeah, you might as well be a gig worker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel, and if you're watching it in a parking lot, I get it. But I've seen people get really into things, and then it's like they get an order and they start driving out of there. It's like, man, you can't finish watching. You got to turn it off. Come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, though, doesn't this go right back to the horse's mouth of we're concerned about safety. We as would be DoorDash or Uber Eats or well, Uber and DoorDash are the worst. But yet it says, please don't text and drive. Yet please accept all the crap orders we send you while you're doing 70.
Right. Don't text and drive, but we do understand we send you so many bad offers. You could be watching a Netflix video, in which case, feel free to finish it while you're driving.
Good God. I mean, honestly, man, I still choke up every time I see that. It's like I'm driving down the expressway. It's like I could pause DoorDash, like, because I got completely off the platinum thing. No choice on my end. It's a long story, but I'm just giving you an example. I got off of it because of whatever reason, but I used to have to pause. Now I just have to pause. It's like, well, if you hit 35 minutes in a second, then you can't get back on. It's like, so I got to keep on going back and make it check my watch. Do I still have time? Reset. It's like, but we don't want you to text and drive. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, what about my customer? How am I supposed to text them? Because I have no idea where they are. All they said was 2022. There's 18 different suites here. I'm driving around. Hey, where are you? I'm trying to find you. Call 3 hang-ups. Oh, my God. Yeah, they're concerned about safety, right? Okay, I get it. How about doing what Uber does? How about maybe just say, you have these boxes to fill out for your driver. Each one has an asterisk. It's a little tiny red one, and it's a mandatory field. What's your address? What's your suite number? What's your business name? And where would you like this delivered?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, transparency is the game changer, as you put it. But I mean, what about a simple fix like that? Like, where do you actually work? Not like I don't need the zip code. I mean, I'm being a little sarcastic, but you get the point. It's like, we have a hospital here that literally has thousands of doors. The address to the entire hospital is one medical village. Okay. That's the address of the entire place. That's what you get sometimes. One medical village. Leave at door. Leave with receptionist. I'm like, so I'm supposed to drive around in circles, DoorDash, texting and calling, or no, just stay in one place. Well, that's fine. Now you have me saying, these little texts come in. What do they say? These little texts come in from DoorDash, and they say, you don't appear to be going to your destination. I'm like, because I'm a mile away because there's no instructions, you idiots.
or you're just like, shut up, Uber. You know that I'm dirty stacking, and you know you come second because of your bad offers. So shut up.
Yeah, well, I love it how they put a clock on me today. Just to know I had a stack from Uber today, and
Another
they put
thing they can't. Another thing they can't do. And no, I'm
what?
not just sitting here being an asshole. I'm just being
No, no, no,
honest.
no, no, no. You're absolutely right. I'm glad you said that. They shouldn't be allowed to do it because Domino's had to stop doing it 20, 30 years ago because
Yeah.
on time or free. I'm like,
And
well, what
actually,
about Uber driver?
that's a
Yeah.
precedence that has been used in some older cases with gig work. Like, you guys about. I mean, that's part of the metric thing. I mean, that alone on the on time thing can't do that. I mean, like here's a perfect example. So I'm going to read this article to everybody in here, and I want to know. I won't say it what I'm thinking right away. I want to know if you guys. It's really short. I want to know what you guys think. I mean, it's at first you'll kind of be laughing somewhat. It's very short, but think in your head like, what is wrong with this picture? Because it maybe I'm wrong. I'm just thinking outside the box all the time now. But DoorDash driver high on meth crashes car, then lights it on fire while delivering food in Linwood. So a DoorDash driver en route to deliver food slammed into a tree in the 5100 block of 192nd Street in Linwood last night, then pulled out a lighter and intentionally set his car on fire. The driver was allegedly high on meth, and then he took off by foot, hiding under a nearby parked car. Linwood police responded around 8 p.m. and grabbed a fire extinguisher, put the car out, put the canines down to find him. They found him. He is in jail, and the suspect admitted to the crash, the fire, and running, all while on the clock and delivering food. He was taken into custody with charges of arson, DUI, and hit and run. The food was never delivered, as the Linwood police joked on social media Wednesday that it was crispier than intended. Okay,
God.
okay, but beside the joke part right there, what's missing in there? Because that's the whole article, or potentially missing.
Where do you start? I mean, dude,
Well, okay, so I guess I mean, right, there's a lot of things, but my main thing is they never I mean, the only comment they made about him being on DoorDash was that where is it again? It says uh all while he was on the clock and delivering food. Was he
on the
trying to
clock.
make a deadline? I'm not sticking up for a meth head
Yeah.
because Checker does an awful job. And Checker, I've even said this before, Checker, if you do meth, you're going to be onboarded to the apps anyway because they don't do a drug test, and Checker doesn't even look at that kind of pass. They're horrible.
All right. All right. Okay.
So my point is, if he's doing that, was he doing it in the Domino's way? Was he like, shit, I'm, like he thinks the metrics matter, and he's like, I can't fall under 90.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think God I favorited it, so I'll probably share it. I'll probably do a review on this at some point when I get back in the game. I just
Yeah.
saw it 2 nights ago, and there's an actual video, a real police time video, like it's called Cop Cam, where
Okay.
a woman is driving her car. It follows along with what you're talking about. Exact same thing. She's driving her car. She gets pulled over. She's actually doing a DoorDash delivery, right? The
Right.
only thing she keeps on going on about, and the cops keep hearing, is she her words, not mine. I'm not going to change it. It's a little verbatim, but I'm not going to change it. The story. She was going to get fired because she was going to be late by being pulled over. I'm like, first of all, you don't get fired. It's deactivation, spin on words. That's my opinion. That's not the point. But
Right.
going back to the realistic part of our problem is that there shouldn't be a clock ticking. I mean, they know as well as we do that when you're on the road, anything can and will happen with trains, traffic jams, car crashes, a flat top. It does not matter. It's going to happen. If it hasn't happened to the perfect drivers, your time is awaiting. It's going to happen to you. You will get stuck somewhere out of your own. It's got nothing to do with you. And
Right.
you got now that goes back to what you said. Now you get deactivated, not deactivated unless it's the third time, whatever it is. I don't know how many times they get anybody. I mean, there's no rule of thumb apparently to this, but you can be at least getting a contract violation for being you were extremely late, 15 minutes. It's like I literally clicked on dash along the way to another zone, and I knew full good and well that's the only chance I had to make a dime. And I also knew full good and well this is the wrong time to be going to that area because I'm never going to make it by the time they stayed on the app. So I got to drive fast. I got to go in the emergency lane. I got to go around cars. Let's face it, I'm putting all my financials at risk here. Not, well, cars and financial, because they have a clock on me. And I have a video to prove what I'm saying because this lady was literally drunk, as you were just talking about. And it was hilarious to me to hear the cops say, well, we don't want you to get fired. They're sugarcoating it to get her to speak so they can smell alcohol on her breath, whatever. She was clearly drunk, by the way. But at the same time, we don't get drug tested as drivers. And I brought this up in a video. It got very little attention, which I was kind of happy to see, because nobody wants to get the gig apps any more ideas on how to fuck the driver. It's like, because 90% of the drivers will be disqualified. If we had to do a drug screen, which clearly would be safety related, don't you think?
I'm not even saying it needs to go to a drug screen. I do, knowing what I know about Checker, though, I get just beyond upset that they're not doing any checks because, look, I don't need a person to go. Too many people do drug. I mean, look at Oregon. Oregon just decided that all drugs are legal. So what do you even do up there? I mean, like,
I thought they took that back. I thought that was like a
well,
test
nonetheless, run. They did it.
Yeah,
They were that dumb to go. This is a good idea.
Like, actually, I saw a video on that one too from another cop cam. They were so confused.
But my point is, I don't care if I mean, I do. But to be honest, here in Denver, you know, on any given day, there's probably 4,000 people driving around on meth. So those are just some odds you running in the city. But what I do care about is a real background check would say, see if you've ever committed a crime on meth, if you've ever been arrested for meth, like dealing it or possession. It would also pull back, have you ever been in forced rehab or like kind of a judge's orders into like methadone programs or things like that? That should come back in a report and should be addressed.
I have a problem, though, and this is my problem. As I was a W-2 worker, there was zero tolerance for doing a drug screen and finding out that you had smoked marijuana within the last 30 to 90 days. I'm like, I have a problem, sir. I smoked it a month ago. I haven't smoked since. I'll bet you your bottom dollar that I'm not stoned right now, but you found a trace of it in my blood, so I'm fired. I got news for you. Your boss got drunk last night at the Bengals game. He's got a worse hangover than I do. But yeah, alcohol's legal, so the guy that smoked pot 30 days ago is fired.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we got problems here.
Yeah. And I mean, and yeah, exactly. Like, unless they can smell booze on you. And even then, but I mean, like if they can smell, it's about the only time you'd ever hear, "Hey, are you drinking?" Like, well, I mean, you could be so you could be hammered every night and be so worthless at work, and they still can't say a boo about it. You know?
Exactly. Even if you have a hangover, you got trashed, you went to bed at 2 a.m. Now you're up at 11 a.m. You can still barely walk because you're just crippled, hungover. You smell like booze. You spilled it on your shirt. It's worn off a little bit, but it's bad. You got a little BO going on. They do a fucking breathalyzer. You're clean. You're a zero, right?
Yeah. When you were talking about how fast, though, like Traveler put all for a $2 delivery. See, this is what I'm talking about, man, is that, like, this is where I think that you would use that Domino's defense as your basis. Like, dude, how, I mean, okay, but he was on meth. Fine, but you know what? He still had a thing in his eyesight that said, hey, man, you're at 90. You're going to fall to 89. And that puts you in jeopardy of being deactivated for on time.
Yeah, they won't deactivate you for speeding, but they'll deactivate you for being late.
Again, all of these aren't legal, but my point is like, crazy, you shouldn't even see that because it, again, even though those of us that know, like, I know not to even take a look at any of those. Most people are getting there, but if you look, it's still like if I mean, I was reading a study here by nybsa.org that was like talking about reimagining the gig economy, and it was saying that it said it actually was mentioning metrics, which I found really interesting, but it was saying even when with the metrics removed, drivers who have been doing this for a certain period of time will be very confused for a while in the transition. And that's exactly what we had been talking about.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be late, right?
Yeah.
If you're actually going to be late because you were being safe versus you rushed and you were unsafe to make sure that you were on time, aren't they worried about safety?
Well, that's my point.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, what if this guy walked into court and he's like, Your Honor, I actually had been clean of meth for 3 months. I have a sponsor that can attest to this. I did have a little bit to just prove to myself that I would not ever smoke it. It was in my glove box, but I was going to be late for this DoorDash, so I smoked the meth, and boom, I hit everything, and everybody died, and I blew up my car. All because of DoorDash's ratings. I'm not saying you'll win it, but and these days, with all the amount of lawyers I've talked to, anything's a case, man.
I mean, it depends on what state you're in. I'll take a shot in California and say you'd probably get backed up by their legislation on that one. That's just my guess.
Or they would just give you state funds to go into rehab and
yeah, you'd be all right. I think you, in my
they'd
opinion,
probably pay you more than DoorDash just to be a junkie.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you don't choke me up, I mean, it's true though, right? I mean, it's true in our opinion, at least, for sure.
I mean, I actually feel like I just made sense, though. I'm being honest.
That's why I said it's true in our opinion. That's not yours, ours. I mean, it's just gotten that silly. It really has.
I mean, we're also talking about California, where they just do throw everybody into that, and like there's a benefit for anybody. There's a benefit for the guy that's been to the benefits table 25 times.
Maybe that's because all the people that are crackheads go to California and they know who to vote for. Because being a crackhead's pretty good. You can get a lot of benefits doing that. Apparently, I mean, that was a lot for me to say, but am I wrong? I don't know.
No, I had a guy say to me recently. He's pretty funny. What did he say? He was making a statement about crack, and he was like, "Crack is awesome for 15 seconds."
Yeah, it's the next 7 years. It's the next 7 years. You don't know, right? Maybe you'll be a DoorDash driver and you have to worry about being on time with one eyeball because the other one went blind, or I overdosed on crack, but I'm still on DoorDash. I was on time. I can see pretty good out of the other eye still.
I mean, the guy, and then Bubba Sue is saying, that if they are on meth, they probably have some kind of criminal record. I would agree that a lot do, but I got to tell you, I feel like I know people who have slipped through the cracks where I'm like, really? You've never been arrested? Like, I'm even talking about some people I've known through in my life.
I don't know though, because I don't think that drug arrests are considered violent crimes. How does AI see that being deactivated? Or how does the...
Well, Checker isn't even checking that anyway.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Arrest.
Oh, I'm 100%.
I mean, people get deactivated for simply having the bad driving record.
You have to have raped your little sister and burnt all of your family in a house for Checker to flag you. Or if you've moved.
I don't know. I mean,
that's an ad for Checker, you guys. I'm sponsored by Checker now.
But I mean, honestly, along those lines, are all these people telling lies that they actually got deactivated because their checker failed and it was over a driving record?
Well, I do know. I mean, most of the people.
I know DUI is considered violent. Let's excuse that.
Most of the people that hit me up for, man, Checker flagged me. It won't even. Might not have even meant a deactivation yet because Checker sends you that report when they pull it. But
yeah,
like if they moved. That was, I mean, that over, like, I'd say well over 50, probably close to like 70% of the Checker issues that approached us for ParaWorks that would come to me, they had to, and say, hey, listen, Checker's fucked up. That's why I had a direct connection with them. 70% about were literally because they moved, especially if they moved states. And that one was a tough one to conquer too. Like that one could take months. But if you move cities, even it did that. For some reason, the system caught it as you don't live in Cincinnati, you live in Dayton. And it's like, I moved, asshole.
That's a solid point, though, because here, everything from Cincinnati to the river where I live, north of Kentucky, all the way up near Cleveland, Dayton, is considered Cincinnati. That's the way people talk around here. So you're right. The
Yeah.
algorithm probably got that in its math.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how, but Checker's a $23 background check too. It is the cheapest in the world.
Well, that's comforting.
I mean, look, Torp, you and I couldn't go have 2 rounds of drinks at a bar without being over the amount of that
What did I tell you
background check.
about this before? I told you this before. The lowest bidder is the one that's running our background checks. I told you this just a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. That's who's running our background checks. For some people's livelihood, and there's quite a few of them as a gig worker, is the lowest bidder. We will do this for 23 versus 32 over there or 50 over there. We'll do it. As a matter of fact, they're probably ready to drop it to 19 just to keep the contract for whenever it gets renewed. And this is who is actually like, we have the final say. It's not even your AR at that point. It's like this third company that's like, well, as soon as we wake up from our nap, we'll go ahead and check on this guy. Oh, yeah, it looks good. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's not Cincinnati. It's Dayton, Ohio.
Yep.
False narrative. We can't do it. All right, failed. It's like, no, can we check that? No, failed. Like you said, it's like there's no recourse. That's the problem.
Well,
There's
and
none.
I don't know if they have a fee on it anymore, you guys. I think it's it's just been a minute, but I think it's CHECKR. So no E between the K and the R, I think. But if you Google Checker, you used to be able to set up a free account with Checker so that you'd be like double flagged anytime anything was hitting. Or so that you could log in and get a quicker response to something. But I'm telling you, even the people who had everything they needed, the people who didn't run into problems, I guess this is be one of the biggest problems that, again, this is just me noticing out of dealing with 200 to 300 people in a 6-month, 9-month period on ParaWorks who were having issues with Checker. 70% of those being they moved, and they would be like, well, blah, 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 blah. So the people that were the best way that they like it to be done, and I mean, take it for what anybody wants, but is they want you to get the license in the new city first. Do not try and switch. I mean, you should be able to. That's bullshit. But
Oh, I
do
see what
not
you're
try.
saying. Yeah, I
Do
see what
not
you're
try
saying.
and switch and say, "Oh, I'm
Don't match.
from Denver, but I live in Omaha, Nebraska now."
Ah, that's a good point, though. That's a good point, though. That's a
Yeah,
good
but
point.
I'm sorry, but I mean, like, Checker has a way where you can upload a document of a bill or something to your new address, and utility bills count at the DMV. Why shouldn't it count on Checker? They just don't know what they're doing.
Clearly.
But my point is like, if you want to make sure you don't have an issue, it's the minute you get to don't wait till your license expires. That's how most of us would do it back in the day. Or if you don't work gig apps, if you moved somewhere, you'd wait till it expired and then you'd get it changed. No reason to rush it. And so, but now if you're going to move out of state or somewhere else, change your ID before you go into the apps and change it.
By the way, you guys scared the hell out of me because with what you were talking about, I just got all my checks in. I just got a notification about a week ago. I swear to God, I'm getting so paranoid. That's how bad it's gotten. I'm like, never would have thought of this before. I'm like, is my shit going to come back right? It's like, it is pending. We will let you know the outcome. Here's the link to check the progress. I'm like, uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh,
No.
pending for Checker?
Yeah. Like, no,
Yeah.
pending. It was in process. And I would be, like, notified of the result. And I'm like, am I going to have to make a live with Steve about what happened to me? You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Well,
God, happened to me, too.
I
Like,
mean,
no,
look,
thank God it didn't.
if you get flagged on Uber or you get flagged, I mean, it shouldn't be okay on any of them, but if you get flagged on any of the apps, okay, that's bad, and through Checker, and it shouldn't matter. But the problem I have with the DoorDash one, where I know if you go change your license, unless you've done something major since the last check that really is flagging you, if you change your license before you change anything else and you get it in hand and then you change everything on there, DoorDash very likely doesn't get flagged through a Checker background check. But but yet DoorDash allows you to live somewhere and go dash anywhere in the country. So what the hell do they care where you live?
Well, amen. You know what I mean? I literally had to fight verbally without curse words with AI over me not being able to get on to Uber, and nobody knew why. Nobody knew why. There was no answer for it. It's like there was obvious. I was like, I was losing my mind, dude. I was like, just tell me what's wrong. What did I do? That's all I want to know. And guess what happened? I swear to God, this actually happened. It turns out that this time, well, that was time before this last one I just told you about. The time before that one, 2 times ago, they wanted to run a background check on me, but they needed my approval for it. And they never sent me an email for my approval. I looked. It's real easy to type in search, emails from Uber, nothing there. And they said, is it okay if we run one now in the chat? I was like, yes, please, and thank you in advance. It took 2 days. It came back good. I was like, so I got technically deactivated. I couldn't use the app. I was shut off because they said they sent me an email needing my approval for the go-ahead to run my background check, and I never got it. I looked at my inbox on Uber. It wasn't there. I was like, so this is worse than I thought. You can be like literally deactivated and have no reason or rhyme to it until you ask questions to a bot that doesn't understand what you're asking them. I was like, that is not comforting. That's why I like what you said. It should be human review.
I
I don't know
mean,
why
but
that's so hard.
by default, any company that does this kind of stuff should have a human team that anytime one gets spit out is wrong, that it's immediately looked at by humans.
Well, guess what,
Hey,
man?
let's make
This,
sure that the algorithm got if it's right, it's right. Okay,
yeah.
cool. But
But here's what's weird. It got so jacked up, fucked up, 2 ways from sideways. This last background check I got was automated. I didn't sign any new agreement. This last one was just automated. I got an email. It did come through. It's happening. It's in progress. We'll let you know the outcome. I'm like, well, actually, that's refreshing. What about last time? I almost had a stroke. I'm like, come on. I mean, I was counting on that to make some money. You know, I use this. This is what I kind of, well, this is what I do. I'm a multi-apper, but don't just shut my shit off because you're screwed up. Give me a shot here. Help me out. I mean, like, we need some people on the table, man. Let's get to the table and talk about this. It couldn't take more than 5 minutes. I don't need all your VIPs in the room. Just what happened here? It's like, thank you. What did happen here? It's like, well, we don't know. Let's look into it. You don't get that unless you you have to actually get lucky. I got lucky. I mean,
yeah,
somehow or another, they told me, oh, no, it's your background check. I'm like, what about? Did I fail? I shouldn't have. Like, no, but you need to give us approval. I'm like, I've been on here for 5 years. I've never been asked for approval. Is this a new TOS, a new thing? Like, yeah, we've always done that. And why don't you work in Cincinnati? Is like, because I'm not in Cincinnati. My map dude shows me in Cincinnati, by the way. It does. It's weird. It's like I've literally never dropped in Cincinnati. I've never picked up in Cincinnati. That's not even my zone. They want me to go there. I say no. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not going over there. I get stuck on the bridge. I'm out for 3 hours over $5. I'm not doing it. So, but yeah, they think I'm in Cincinnati. That's the zone here. Even with Curry, I had to sign up in Cincinnati for Curry, which shows the surrounding areas, mine being one of them. So God only knows how that's going to work out. You know, God help you if you work in a tri-state area somewhere. Ugh.
yeah. My guess is they're just putting you in the biggest market.
That's what it's all Cincinnati here.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what your belief is or what your background is or where you grew up. It's all Cincinnati here. Indiana, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Lawrenceburg, it's everything here is Cincinnati. And I actually talked to a live person that day. I was like, I've never worked in Cincinnati. She goes, maybe that is a problem. You have got to work in Cincinnati. If you need to clean your in Cincinnati or Ohio, I'm like, I don't live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I live in Kentucky. I'm like, I've never dropped there. I've never been there. Look at the GPS for 4 years. I've never been in Cincinnati on Uber. Not once, not ever. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not that's yeah, so yeah, it's like wow. It's just a big wow factor there. This is what we deal with,
Yeah, there's a article I'm looking at right now that's that I was trying to pull up here. That's a study done by Rice University, and it actually is published in the Journal of Organizational Behavior, which is something that is used amongst all big companies and stuff. And it's saying that gig work has become increasingly popular option for those looking for flexible employment, whether driving Uber, delivering for DoorDash, or doing freelance tasks online. Millions of workers rely on these jobs to make a living. But new research from Rice University sheds light on a hidden downside: how bad ratings and unstable work conditions can take a toll on workers' mental health.
Amen.
Shit.
Well, I'll give you an example of that. This is funny. I have short stories, which makes this the best. I went to a place called McAllister's Deli today. I was on Uber. I'm really using Uber big time right now, but that's beside the point. So I go in there, and there's this guy. He seems really, really nice. He's like really excited, and then I found out why. They handed him like 4 massive catering bags. I'm like, yeah, he's making bank on this one. But he smelled so bad, I thought he stepped in dog shit. And instead of trying to get it off his shoes, he just rolled around in it. I mean, no offense to him, but it was that bad. And I was like, he was unshaved, dude. His clothes were dirty. I'm like, he had a really nice car, by the way. So I know he wasn't homeless because I ran into a couple of those here too. But turns out I did talk to him. I'm like, he seems friendly. I'll go ahead and see if the door is open to a light conversation. Guess what I found out? He spent the last 4 days, because he works every single day, according to him. I tend to believe him by the way he appeared and smelled. He spent the last 4 days taking every garbage order he had to take because, in his words, and I quote, I can't afford to be fired. And then he gets this banger. I'm guessing it was probably 60 to 90 bucks because around here that's about what it is for a big one, a unicorn as they call it. Yeah. So what was his average is my question. Over 4 days and getting that banger, what was his average?
Well, why did he smell like dog shit though?
He hadn't slept. He hadn't showered. You know what I mean? He hadn't done either one. Poor guy. He was a really nice guy, it turned out.
No, but he just smelled.
Oh, it was bad. And I thought about that because when he's taking that egregious order, which is probably right around 800 bucks, as I know that place, he's going to deliver it and nobody's going to be able to eat because that stink, as you know, and I'm not making fun of the guy, but it's just, I've had it myself. Sometimes you just get that way. If you're really busy for a long time, it does happen.
But then there is him putting him in, and again, I hate talking about the things that we shouldn't have to because it's metrics, but there's him actually potentially getting deactivated because the person calls and says, yo, your delivery driver smelled like a literal pile of shit.
Exactly.
And so therefore he's deactivated. That's not even a strike. You're gone.
Oh, it gets better. There's an end to the story. I know the manager of that store over the last 4 years, only on DoorDash though, not Uber Eats. She doesn't even know I'm on Uber Eats. We don't talk about that part. They actually offered me a job in their catering, which I had to decline. Long story short, we're not going to talk about it, but she literally told me that when somebody comes in and they're like disgruntled with them, like, where's the food? I'm in a rush. They can actually tell DoorDash they don't want them back.
Well, yeah.
I didn't know that. That was like a year and a half ago I found that out. Uber still shows you the ratings for merchants, but I didn't know that DoorDash even had that. I found that out. Thank God they liked me there. I started to act a little bit nicer to the merchants. It's like, there's clearly a problem here because most of the people that work at these merchants don't want to be there anyway. So
yeah, Bubba Sue just said yes, you can get banned at a store. I just read an article yesterday.
Yeah, you can. You damn right you can. Absolutely.
I mean, I already knew that, but I just read a very I can't even remember what it was. I read it was like in Grocery Dive or something.com, but there was a good article on it too.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. It's
I know for me saying it was about a year and a half ago, it makes me sound like a newbie, but I was a newbie to that. I had no clue the merchant had control over the driver. None.
yeah. Well, I mean,
That's not transparency, though, is it?
no,
Not at
no.
all. I'm like, come
No,
on,
that I
man.
mean that would be like that's even a real different step and look at this whole thing because that would be like, in the construction example I use sometimes, if the GC hires you to do the electric and before the house is finished, she the owner or the purchaser of the house goes to the GC and not knowing you says, "I want the person doing the electric fired." Why? I just do. Like what?
Well,
Like,
I'll give you an example of what you're talking about that works where I'm at. Just a few weeks ago, I was in a place called Raising Cane's.
yeah, we got them.
And for whatever reason, there was a height of the immigration there, where for some reason, all the parking lots around here were just full of cars where there was not one piece of English being spoken. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it scared me a little bit because they're all laughing and looking around. I'm like, are they laughing at me? I mean, are they gonna come out? I didn't know what the hell it was. So for whatever reason that day, Raising Cane's was full of immigrants. I'm not going to say illegal. This is not a political discussion. But they were all in there and they were all putting the phones in the merchant's face because the merchants knew that they couldn't speak English. Said, what? You have to read it to me. So they kept on putting their face. All the women, there was three of them behind the counter trying to take these orders. All the women said, I swear to God, I swear to God, get them out of here. Now, this was not a dramatic effect. They were literally wore out. These women were. They were literally wore out and a little bit scared because when you put something in somebody's face, first of all, the etiquette in America is this: don't put anything in anybody's face, especially closely. That is kind of grounds for like, you're in my box, man. You need to back up a little bit. I don't care what the reason is. I just lost my sense of humor. And I noticed that that merchant probably cleaned house because none of that whole group left. All of them left. I don't know if they're traveling, but now all of a sudden we're not seeing that like that anymore. It's like it just kind of like left, and we're reporting. That's I kept on hearing that. The manager came out and says, "I'm not having my employees treated like this. You gentlemen need to read those orders." And they just smile at them. They would just smile. And put the phone right back in the manager's face. I'm like, I don't think this is going to end well. I just don't see the ending well. And it didn't. Now, all of a sudden, it's like all the boroughs just, the dust borough, it just cleaned up. I'm like, we got an issue here. And the issue is that the merchants are actually as in control as the customers. I don't know, man. If your transparency thing does not come to light for all 50 states,
Yep.
I don't see this going well for drivers in the long term. I ain't worried about cars driving themselves. We're talking about stuff that's not going to happen for years if it does happen. I'm
Yeah,
talking about
no,
here and
no, and
now.
and
This
again,
transparency's got to
again, it
happen.
again it will. Hey, reach out today. What's up?
It
Um,
is time. It
but
is
uh,
time.
I mean, like again, it's all smoke and mirrors all the time. So if it's oh, let's focus. Oh, look at all these autonomous over here. There's none
Right.
over there, and they're all fake. Oh yeah, but we're dealing with just screwing people over here. We want you to look over there. I mean, I want to look. The rest of this article is actually. I'll roll through it because it's not long. It's actually I just skimmed it real quick because I rolled upon it today. But the overall message of this rice education thing says because there's a few things in here that talked about what I'm talking about. So the overall message here is that negative feedback really matters. It makes it harder for gig workers to detach from work, which affects their well-being and their job performance. Unlike traditional employees, gig workers don't have managers to advocate for them. Instead, their livelihoods depend on maintaining high ratings from customers. Many platforms have strict performance thresholds. If a worker rating drops too low, they can be removed from the platform with little to no warning. Our study found that this kind of job insecurity makes negative feedback even more stressful. For gig workers in more secure positions, the effects aren't as strong. But for those constantly worried about losing access to work or platforms, negative ratings take a significant toll. The study also highlights how handling negative feedback can be time consuming and emotionally draining. Many workers must spend additional time responding to complaints, appealing ratings, or even redoing tasks, all of which further intensifies stress. Gig workers receive immediate feedback after completing every task, blah, blah, blah. Despite the rapid expansion of the gig economy, researchers still have a limited understanding of how the constant flow of feedback, especially negative feedbacks, affects the long term well being. This creates a difficult work cycle. Workers invest extra time to addressing negative ratings. That part I don't think I really agree with because I don't. I mean, it's I don't address them. It just bothers you. So I get that other part though, which makes it harder to mentally detach, leading to increased stress and lower job performance the next day. So what can be done? With gig workers becoming a more significant part of the market, the study raises important questions about how platforms manage worker performance as well-being. One of the people who wrote this suggests that companies could take steps to reduce that stress simply by removing the metrics. This
Yes,
is a
sir.
Rice education.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, here it is. I mean, this is from days ago. Uh, so where was I?
Could have been from 10 years ago.
Platforms should consider how they use customer ratings. She went on to say, instead of automatic deactivations based on scores, companies could implement a warning system or allow workers to explain poor reviews before being penalized. Yeah,
You know what I think the
absolutely.
problem there is?
Well, hold on. I'm almost to
I'm
the end. So
sorry. I thought you were about. Sorry.
for policymakers, this research highlights the need for better job protections in the gig economy. Unlike traditional employees, gig workers have very little job security. Give them more transparency and a fair process to challenge negative ratings would make a complete difference and and could fully overhaul the sector.
I don't think they want that sector overhauled. That's the problem. They give us the
But I mean,
freedom, as
like
everybody says.
I'm looking at this lady, assistant professor in psychological sciences at Rice University. This wouldn't have been written a year, 2, 3, 5 years ago. Wouldn't have even been written, and she wouldn't have had any understanding of it. I'm not saying it's the answer, but I love things like this that show me that they are at least seeing. This isn't a thing I would have gone down either, because yes, there's psychological damage done by managers, like human managers, though too. So I would challenge that. Any job puts that on you.
Right.
It's just, are you the type who's able to go, fuck you, man, and go home and have a beer and like
Well,
blow it off? Or are you going to,
that's kind of where I was going with this. I think that's the problem with the argument that everybody chimes in on, no matter what side they're on, is that the gig apps have the upper hand saying, I don't know what the problem is here. They had the option to say no. They simply did.
well,
We
I
haven't
mean,
forced them to do anything. They are their own person. They
well,
make their own
and when
decisions.
that came up in our court, though, when that
You know what I
came up
mean?
here, I mean, they made them,
That's why we got
uh,
to get away from being gig workers and become self-employed.
right, but I'm even saying that challenge that give them option. Let's run the B play today on this bullshit. When they stood up to give their part of the story and give their normal speech and spiel, that's when our judge was like, sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. You're gonna listen today. You're gonna learn. I mean, it really turned into a shit show where everybody in there was educated. They weren't dealing with a bunch of people like in the other states where it's like, what's the options we have here? Well, we all like this Prop 22, and the union said they'll help us out for free. And we said, what's that big wooden horse out there that looks like a Trojan horse? And they said, oh, that thing, don't worry about that. We're just doing this out of the goodness of our hearts.
Right. And that's exactly what these metrics are, the goodness of their hearts. Because if you do well, you praise it. If it
Yeah.
backfires and you get fucking deactivated, then it's time for action. They know what they're doing. They really do. It surprises me that there still has to be a definition as to what we're classified as. Because
Oh, I
back in
know.
the day,
I loved
I call
seeing I
myself,
loved seeing
yeah,
her final part of this though. Her final part of the breakdown, the part where she said, um, unlike tradition. This is a quote from her, and I think that, and this is what is near the end. So she's like, unlike traditional employees, gig workers have very little job security. Giving them more transparency and a fair process to challenge deactivations and negative ratings would make a huge difference. Blah blah. I mean, that is a those again. That's what I'm saying. Those words wouldn't have been used before.
exactly. This is
E-
unprecedented.
Right, and I mean, even by a
Right.
university person like this, she wouldn't. I've seen these articles for years. She wouldn't have used the transparency word. Wouldn't have even been there.
Well, we wouldn't need transparency unless it became a problem.
Right. It would have,
Exactly.
but even if it did, if even the people who go out on a limb, and normally like this wouldn't have, but it would have said something more like giving them, um, you know,
What do we classify it as,
giving them,
Steve?
it would have left it at more, giving them more details about the order. No, no, not more, all. So use the damn word transparency like you did here. Perfect.
So what
Because when
would
you
you?
say giving them more details, you're not fixing the problem.
I couldn't agree more on that. But
Because
with
then you're
that,
just like going, well, is it 6.5? What'd you fix on the details? Well, it was 6.4 miles, but we called, or it was 6.6, but we called it 6.5. But now we're going to actually show you that it's 6.6. So that's what we fixed.
does this not go back to classification?
Yeah. I mean, look, I mean, the way that I see it right now is that the classification, I mean, Gary's right. What he submitted and what we're going to talk about tomorrow and what we're going to start doing. I mean, like, even, I don't know if you know, Have It Your Way, the handle Have It Your Way. That's Brian in Pittsburgh. He's been around forever, man. He's a good guy. And he's going to be the one like you to go take it in Pennsylvania.
I'm leaving skid marks as soon as I get the word or know what the hell I'm doing. I'm leaving
Well,
skid
that's what
marks.
tomorrow's going to be about is like,
Yeah,
okay, let's start building out these other
it's got
states.
to be done. If I'm going to take it seriously, dude, this is
Yeah.
like my livelihood, for better or for worse, and it could be better.
Well, and
If yeah,
that's the whole thing. Because I'll say this too. This, I guess this is a good time to say this. I did have somebody email me. I always have people email me, not from the live pod being here, but from the podcast that goes out to all podcast players, because that's the best way to contact me. So they'll email me. And I had somebody say that, well, what if I go submit this thing and it makes sense, it looks good, it's correct. I mean, they still would need to redo some things. I'm like, of course, they're going to need to legalese it with their fine tuning, but for you to take all the legwork out of the way and for us to have, shareable information that they can go look and reference is amazing. But they said if I took that time to go down there and I hand it in and it doesn't get passed right away, but they did take it and they acknowledged it and they emailed me and all the things that you can do to make sure that it was really taken in. They're like, then what did I really even do? And I'm like, you just laid major groundwork. And even if it doesn't go I mean, look at all the people that try and pass a bill and it doesn't go the first time. That we did that. I mean, here we tried to get rideshare and delivery through on the first bill, and we didn't know any better that the
are you are you
lot.
class are you classified as a good worker in Colorado?
I'm classified as an independent contractor.
Gotcha. Just asking.
That's what everybody wants.
That's what I'm
I
trying
mean,
to
that's
figure out the
that's that's
classification because we
that's
got
what
people say
this is going to say. We don't at least Gary didn't, I didn't. We don't use the term gig worker.
I don't like that term by
In
the way.
fact, it's like throughout the document we submitted in Colorado, it was independent contractor that we wanted to be for our status because that matches up with their TOS, which immediately puts their TOS under the microscope. But the other thing was that uh, when you do, I think when it was referred to, it was like this independent contractor is free to work and earn however he wants on a legal basis. And if it ever mentioned the gig apps, it said, you know, uh, not to be only for, but not to exclude uh, app based platform work. I think that's how they said. They never used the word gig.
Yeah, right. But we're not free to work as we wish if there's repercussions for making decisions that they don't like.
Well, I mean,
That's just an opinion.
Here there is. So that's
Well,
what
there, yes. What I'm saying is the other. What is it? 47 states now. Did you say there was three? I don't want to quote you. I know
um
yours. Is there two others?
well, I'm not a bit I don't think any of them are as good as ours, but there are other ones doing better things. And then out of nowhere, Illinois was pushing for a huge union thing, and it was looking bad for a while. John Lopez has been really pushing that thing on in there, and he said that finally he's going more for like what we have here. And not just him, but he said like people are understanding that there's finally seeing the flaws after all these years of really just trying to shove this one thing down idea down everybody's throat. Even the people who are trying to shove it are now going, well, wait, we've seen the problems with that. 100%, 120% of minimum wage for active time just means you're allowing the person that you're literally like, you might as well be suing them. Like, I hate you. I hate working on your platform. You're going to pay me this
Well, yeah.
120% of active time. And they're just laughing, going, fine, we will make sure you get less active time. No problem, dickhead.
Man, you beat me to it. Damn, darn you! Yeah, I was waiting for the opportunity to say that. Let's say you do win. Let's say, well, you did, but
Well, because
let's say I
that's
win.
just a bad battle, though.
Now all of a sudden the algorithm will be writ in your honor. Okay, fine. You get full transparency with the 3 orders that we send you a day, and they're in full legal transparency. It's like, nope, you get to know everything you want to know about what's going on. If you get deactivated, a human will look at it, but it's going to be based on these 3 orders that we send you, and all 3 of them are really going to suck.
Oh, 100%.
You know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
look at the Seattle thing. Look at
Yeah, that's my
you
only issue, if you want to call it an issue. Go ahead.
the Seattle thing with the 2 week notice. Are you? I mean, like everybody was. They actually fought for that, and here I am thinking, am I the only sane person who realizes that DoorDash fighting and going, fine, we'll give it to you? To them, they're just laughing their asses off and going, you do know during that 2 week period you don't get one offer.
Bingo. That's my problem.
So it's
That's what I
like,
want the
so to me,
clarity
I'm
on.
like,
Yeah.
this is why I always say you got to watch what you fight for, because if you fight for the wrong thing, you just might get it.
Thank you. That's what Metallica said. Different story, but gotta be really good. You just might get it. I'm like,
Yeah. But I mean, you might, and no, and again, they will always make it look like it's a fight. Damn, we didn't want to do this, but you win, you beat us. If you hear that, you should worry. You did something wrong,
well, I think a
because
lot of people already feel
they'll
like they've
walk
done
out like
something wrong
they'll
anyway.
walk out like they did here. If you win, they'll walk out like they did in Colorado, dumped 5 times as much as other states into fighting this, and they
Right.
were kicking rocks on the way out, pissed off. Then you know you won.
I don't really know that there's any other option anyway, because let's say that you just are one of those people that are doing really well in your market and say, I don't get all this transparency stuff. I'm doing really well. We know a few of them,
Yeah.
and they just do really well. They just do. 8 hours,
Yep.
10 hours, they're making more than people that work around the clock, and we know those people too.
I
So
mean,
would they want
I don't think there's anything
transparency?
wrong with shouting out Dustin, major deliveries.
That's on
You
you.
know,
It's your podcast.
no,
I
no.
won't
I
do
mean,
that.
because he's a good guy. But what he posts up there, he makes some pretty. It's just steady too.
Yeah, it's solid, is what it
Like
is.
his market
Yeah,
just works like it works.
it works good for him.
He
Whatever
can.
he's doing, it
I've
works.
seen him
Yeah,
even post day to day, and I know you guys. You know me. If I say if I'm ever mentioning somebody posting earnings, it's one of the things I hate most. It means I totally trust this person to have no reason at all to screw around with this. Like I just don't, and part of my intuition too. Like everything about it tells me Dustin ain't lying when he posts
no,
those.
I don't think Dustin knows how to lie. By the, I know he knows how
That's
to
what
get
I'm kind of getting
aggravated.
at
He
too.
knows
Yeah,
how to get
exactly.
aggravated, but he does not know how to lie.
Right. And I mean,
I
again, people can
100% confirm.
challenge me on that. I'm just saying,
No.
I
There's no
think
reason to challenge.
otherwise.
No, he does not know how to lie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in him to lie. He can
Yeah.
actually be monetized at this point, and he kind of let that out of the bag. He says, "I will never be monetized." That's his choice. I'm not going to go there right now, but he does not know how to lie. He literally he gets aggravated. He does do that, but he does not lie.
Yeah.
I don't see it anyway. If I'm missing it,
Oh,
then I
I don't
missed it.
see it either. No.
Yeah,
And I
no,
mean,
not at all.
and some people might say that, well, no, he said this and I think this, and my answer to that would be He didn't lie to you. He gave you his opinion, and you're giving me your opinion. Neither of you are facts. But this is where I get to with some people where I'm like, do you guys not understand that, like, him saying, like, that's why I always say to people, make sure you say, like, when I talk about roadie, when I was saying, like, everybody always talks bad about roadie, so maybe try it out. Even I do it though. But when I do it, I say, hey, in Denver, for me, in my market, for me, roadie has always sucked. Period. That's a fact. But I'm not telling you it will suck for you. I know a couple people that do roadie and do okay with it in my market. I'm just
Honestly,
saying, I always add that, and everybody else doesn't.
I
Nobody
get
else
it.
puts that in.
Well, you're right about that. There's very few of you. Dustin's one, or right? I was going to say
Well,
Rideshare,
yeah,
or
because the way I don't
but
think he's even about like just. I mean, he doesn't. He puts out a video when he does, but he also doesn't. It doesn't matter what. It almost doesn't matter what market he works in because he's saying because he says things like, "Guys, every single city's different, so therefore it doesn't even matter
I
where he
know,
lives."
I know.
Yeah,
You're not going to go wrong with one idea with him: the honesty and transparency that he transpires in his market, and he tells you repeatedly, "This may not work in yours, and it probably won't. I'm just telling you what's happening with mine." He's really good about that, and he's been doing it since day one. You're absolutely correct. And I wish all influencers were like that, and that's where I came into the picture. I'm like, I kind of call them out. Well, I do call them out. I do. That's kind of like where I got my claim to fame. Not that it's fame, but, well, the claim to fame of Torp is I went through hell. I mean, I went through hell over that, dude. I had, like, the biggest headaches and gave the biggest headaches because people are like, no tip, no trip. I'm not even saying that's right or wrong. That's not the point. But I was like, how can you tell somebody 5 states away or even in the next county, customers are miserable? They're miserable human beings. And don't listen. Don't listen. Just wait. I'm like, dude, that's bad advice. It's just bad advice because you got views. You're going to tell somebody else how to make money in their market. I got so aggravated. It turns out I was
yeah,
right. They were floating the system. They were gifting the system and saying, I can actually make my AR 100% overnight. You can't. I know how to do it. I have a group of people that can. But we're going to make it look like no tip, no trip works for everybody, when in fact it only worked for them. And I was like, there's something here to expose. And then you came along, and it's like, how about not arguing over the tip and making transparency the thing? Because transparency, you don't have to worry about the tip because your AR won't matter. And
and
that's what I
and
loved
it's
your
and,
idea.
and yeah, and it's verifiable here too because and this is a big part that every state does need to include in the first round. You need to make sure that the customers are getting the breakdown too. Because if there ever needs to be an audit, it needs to be done that way and cross reference, not done through the algorithm.
Couldn't agree more. Customers need transparency too because my customers, I see in their eyes. They think they
Yep.
did me a fatty by throwing me a $5 bill, thinking I'm making $20 an hour.
Plus, I don't know if it's a conspiracy of people or what, but there's a good group of people I know who definitely think, well, with all the years DoorDash stole up till current, how could they? I honestly think they're repooling tip money and other money behind the scenes. And I've said, I'm not only not disagreeing with you, you're actually like, as far as I know, you're correct. Like,
Well, let me ask you
because even
this.
here, that's part of the transparency because if they say we want to audit this order done on this day with this driver or however if they say we want all of them for the quarter, they're going to compare them, and so the amounts need to match up. So therefore you can't be, if that makes sense to everybody, you can't be moving money around in the background, and going, we'll make this one higher, because then it wouldn't match up.
Well, I give you a great example of that. Uber Eats shows that they're giving double base pay in my market for 2 trips, for 2 pickups, 2 drops. Uber does that here. DoorDash clearly shows $2, 1 pickup gets 0.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's the thing here in Kentucky. I don't
Hey,
know
if
anywhere else.
anybody in the chat, I got it just while we're talking. If anybody in the chat can answer this, does the Uber rideshare pets thing still work for Uber Eats? I think. Oh, okay. Oh, I got 2 yeses. Okay, yes from Mandy and yes from Bubba Sue.
What
Okay.
is what is the pets thing, by the way?
So you turn on Uber Eats, right?
Yeah.
And then I mean, if you're not on it yet, you just onboard to Uber Rideshare because you're going to have the ability for rideshare. And you turn on Uber Rideshare, and you turn the offers on Uber Rideshare to Uber Pet only, so that you can do all these toggles of different ones you will and won't do. So you do Uber Pet only. So the only offers you'll get are Uber Pet. But while it's surging on Uber Rideshare, Uber Pet will pay you that surge, or Uber Eats will pay you that surge if you grab something on Eats while also on Uber.
That's a bad engagement.
Yeah,
That's a really bad engagement.
yeah.
I don't even like that. You know what? I'll keep it super short, under 10 seconds. This is why I don't order off the food apps. That was less than 5, actually. I won't. I refuse. I will not order off
No,
the
I'm
food
saying
apps.
for the driver, for you.
Well, I'm talking about both.
Right, but what you're doing is if Uber's saying, because in this case you'd actually be sticking it to Uber, not the customer. But I'm still not down with it, you guys. I never promote this shit. You know
No,
that.
there's no way.
I
Either way you
don't,
look
because
at
I'm
it,
involved in. I mean, everybody knows this too. I'm too involved in too many like very important issues to ever even stick my opinion out on that. More the less endorse it or anything. So
I just something I wouldn't do.
yeah, I
Personally,
mean,
I don't even mess with it. There's
yeah,
no
but I
way.
mean, what the thought process is like if an event lets out, let's say, and a basketball game or a football game here in Denver, you can get up to 4 or 5 times on, but it won't show it on any Uber Eats offer. And then I just think it's funny. And then this is how bad their programming is. And then when you get paid 5 times as much. It's like,
Sounds
you
like a
guys are
hidden tip.
idiots, dude.
That sounds like it. Is that like a hidden tip?
No, you're using the Uber Surge.
See,
The,
I don't have that.
right, because if you have both, you can just turn both rideshare and Eats on at the same time.
Right.
And then you just toggle it to dogs only, so you won't see any dog rides. There's barely ever any. And then it
I'll
does
be
that.
honest with you. I got a question. I got a question for you on this subject. It's not really this subject, but it's along rideshare. If I was thinking about doing rideshare, those days are over. Listing the is it barbecue hot drop microphone? What is that?
Oh, Mike Drop Barbecue.
That's the one.
Yep.
He has more issues with rideshare than I have with transparency on
Jeff, yeah.
DoorDash. Jeff, there you go.
I knew you knew him. I know you know
I
Jeff.
do know him. I do.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do.
We've
I
talked about
do.
this.
Yes. But no, this, like I told you, I still listen to content. I'm not worried about the personal issues. So, I mean, he does make me feel better about not even trying rideshare because he's actually portraying rideshare in the worst possible light that there is. And I don't think he's doing it to get views. I think he's doing it because he's aggravated with rideshare. Rideshare is a problem.
But his pitch is actually pretty good. I mean,
No, his
there's
pitch is
Hum
off the
and
charts.
there's another one too, and then
Yeah.
there's just what just me, like he says me.
Yeah. No.
But he's like,
Yeah.
but even him, he uses Hum and stuff just for the credit card processing and for the legitimacy when you're trying to poach a client. But his whole channel, and I mean, Bubba Sue watches him. I think Traveler watches sometimes. I think if some of the people in here watch, but honestly, his whole approach is, listen, these are not apps where you're going to make it used to be these are apps that you need. He'd say these are apps you need to know how to navigate so you can earn on them if you're going to work on them. Now it's turned into fuck the apps. You're never going to make a dime off the rideshare apps. Get the client in, take them, and if it's a crap pay, it's a crap pay. If you don't click with the person, cool, move on to the next. If you do with the next one, steal them right from Uber. Boom.
I
Say,
like
hey,
that,
you
by
know
the way.
what? I'll
That's
do it for
solid.
half the price. I'll
That's
cancel
solid.
it right now, and here, I'm your private ride from now on.
But may I ask you a question on this subject, please?
Yeah.
Is rideshare more profitable than delivering a hot dog? And no pun intended. Is it? I don't know.
I mean, it depends on how you do it. Yes, you can do. I mean, yes, you can do it, and it depends on how. I mean, look at some markets. I mean, some markets. I know people who have told me through this summer, especially, had told me about 7-8 hour sitting in the car with the app on, and not one order comes through. Like, to me, I'm in Denver. That's unheard of. Like, that would never happen. You know, I mean, like, you're going to see some, but they're talking about sitting, and I mean, it just depends on where you live. Whereas with rideshare, there's always going to be some to choose from if you want to.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. I like asking a
The
question.
volume
Yeah.
the volume is better because the oversaturation's always less.
Gotcha.
Not as many people are willing to do rideshare.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
And therefore, though, I believe that if like somebody like you who knows the gig apps were to start rideshare tomorrow, I think you should tomorrow start with Jeff's attitude. Not even play the game for a minute. Just start stealing clients right away.
I actually, that's what I told you. I think I better say it in private. I told you
that, and I know that you and I
good.
must kind of share a moral compass to some degree, because like we were just talking
Yes.
about the Uber Eats thing that didn't feel right.
Yes.
But like this, I don't even feel weird about. This is like, fuck you.
No,
and it's
no,
like,
that's
hey,
good
what
stuff.
are you paying? Oh, I paid $80. Really? I'm getting paid 15.
That's
if you
called
pay me 40,
yeah,
I'm going to make way more, and I'm happy to do that kind of number for you in the future.
Boss, check this out. That's called capitalism. If you
Yeah.
take those rideshare people and they come into town regularly and they become your clients, so be it. So be it.
I mean, travelers up in upstate
Yeah.
New York, and he's saying he used to. I know that now he does Amazon Flex and stuff, but he did rideshare for a long time, and he's saying he used to do 30 to 50 an hour.
Well, you know what my dad always told me? He's passed, but guess what he always told me? And he repeated this a long time of my life. If you listen to somebody that pisses you off enough, you will learn something from them. You will learn something. You will.
No, as you were saying that, I was thinking of one specific person who.
You will learn something. Well, maybe you'll learn what not to do. How about that? With that one specific person. How about maybe you'll learn what not to do?
I mean, I was just thinking, something. I mean, you have no idea who I'm talking about, but.
No, it doesn't matter because we all know them. Everybody knows somebody that they don't want to talk to. It's like, but if you listen to them,
are you sure though?
Something. I don't know.
Like, I think that one example. I can't say anymore. But I think that one example proves the point.
I think, well, I mean, honestly, I think I do. But, I mean, if I don't, I don't. You know, it's happened before. What I'm saying, though, is that if somebody does aggravate you to no end, even if just give, like, you don't have.
I hear you. I mean, I agree. There is. I mean, like, from the worst of worst people.
Yes, you can still. It doesn't mean that you're listening to everything, and it just means like out of 80 hours of garbage, there was 20 minutes that I actually made money with because I listened, and that's painful for a lot of people. But I'm that guy. That's how I know what I know. That's how I know what I know because I did listen to the garbage. I mean, if I'm going to argue about somebody that's like that guy, whoever that guy is, I'm like, well, I can't argue about him if I don't know what he stands for.
Yeah.
But during that process,
But once you learn, you can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about the biggest gray area of all time there. But yeah, I feel what you're saying. It's just like there's always something to learn, though. I think.
No, I mean, I honestly think Jeff's approach, like, here's one thing that Jeff's been on the podcast before too. And like, he's said things like, you know, I've tried to, when we're like booking a time and I know I'll be home, or how about this day, this time, it like, if it ever was Friday between like 2, which is sometimes like a slow time, right? Between 2 and like 7 PM, no matter how the rest of his week went, he goes and does rideshare at the airport because he said that's where he will get 3 to 4 clients that every single night on a Friday that are flying in for the weekend, that, and because it's a town like Phoenix, fly in often. Therefore, they're like long-term client.
Well, is there any wonder why he's not worried about rideshare anymore? he's
No,
doing
and again, I mean, his point is just magic there, because he's right. Like,
I know.
guys, in all essence, even what we're fighting for is to be independent contractors, in which case, not only is what he's doing correct and he's showing you and telling you, yes, get your own customers, but he's saying you're lucky to have a platform like Uber to even be giving you these opportunities to find these clients. So find them, grab them. Don't let them just go.
So instead of the apps using Jeff is using the apps.
Yeah.
That's classic gold.
However, and you and I both know this, even in the rideshare space,
Yeah.
99% of the people are being used by the app, other way around.
Which is why you're here.
Right. And that's in Jeff. That's, if he can flip your mindset, or I can, and tell you, is, oh, you've done what? You got onboarded to Uber today? Yeah, I did my first 3 rides. I'm going to go out and do another 10 tomorrow. Okay, well, make sure that you're put a QR code on the back of your thing, because you're an independent contractor by the Uber terms. So, I hate to say that the worst they can do is deactivate you, because that scares some people, but it really is the worst. You can't get in any trouble for being an independent contractor in advertising. And you shouldn't even be able to have any issue, but nonetheless, like, I think you're okay. And I think Jeff's way is the way I always say it too. Like, don't just have pitch them immediately when they get in. Like, if you got them for 20 minutes in the car, talk to them for a minute, make sure that they're a customer you'd want beyond once. Because I can tell you, as doing rideshare, I've had a lot of people I would not want being like a regular.
Can I ask you a question about rideshare?
Yeah.
This is a sidestep, but it's about rideshare. What is like a general base pay for rideshare? Because I know what it is for delivering a hot dog.
Well, so in Uber, for UberX, it's actually gotten really sad, but it's upfront fare now. So they show it, and especially here in Colorado, you're seeing pickup, drop off, full amount, and then tips to the side. So you've got it all right there. Here's the miles you're driving. You've got it all.
Can they pull it back?
Well, yeah, but in Colorado, if you get tip baited, the company has to pay you. It's the way yeah, because the way it was done was, if here's how the judges saw it, which I think is perfect. If I'm Uber and I allow you that 2-hour window to add to tip or remove tip, we already know, very few probably add to tip, but a lot remove the tip fully, and that's the tip baiting. So what the deal is here is that whatever comes up in the transparency offer, that is what you will be paid out, and there can be no changes to that.
Nice.
So that way, if a tip is pulled back, the way that it was worded to to Uber was, if you guys want to, you guys can take that ability away and say, once you've tipped, and that's up to you how you want to run your business. But if you're allowing the customers to pull back money that the driver took an order based on a specific amount of money for a specific amount of work, that's up to you, the company, to lose money, not them.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So, but I mean, that's how it should be. Again, it's supposed to be our client. It's my client. So in all reality, it's very weird that they're even stepping on that and well, we have all the records and we're going to, we understand you're the facilitator of the charge, but why didn't you just make the charge when they ordered the food and put the tip in? Anybody normal would, even if I'm okay, Torp, you'll get this because you're around my age. So pre-cell phones, you're ordering food, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would take your credit card over the phone before you went to pick it up.
Correct.
Or a lot of them, at least. They'd say, okay, give me your credit card.
You didn't know the tip until they got there.
Yeah, and you'd go, and that's without delivery. You'd go pick up the food. It's already paid for. So my point is, even though the platforms aren't performing it that way, they should, if I order McDonald's off Uber and I put a $10 tip in, they should be charging that right then and there, because I'm making a transaction and they're now sending you for whatever amount of money to do the job. So a person's being paid to do the work. McDonald's is making the food. Why the hell haven't you run the credit card right away? Why do you have this window?
Can I ask you a question about that? It's a good
Yeah.
question, I think. Would you agree or disagree that DoorDash in most areas, a lot of areas, has more volume than Uber Eats? Food delivery. DoorDash
Um,
has more volume. I mean, not money, volume, like more orders.
yeah. I think in my market, I think if I turn on Uber Eats and DoorDash on a weekend day or something, I'm going to see way more. It didn't maybe used to be this way, but I'm going to see way more Uber Eats offers.
Okay.
Not as good, but I'm going to see way more than I'll see DoorDash.
All
So I
right.
think again, are people using DoorDash more in my market? I think so, but I think there are that many more Dashers than Uber Eats people.
The point of my question is this. In most markets that I've seen on YouTube, I'm not saying everybody's telling the truth and lying. That's not the point here. But in my market, I will speak to it. DoorDash, if you're on Platinum, you can't stop the offers. They just come in that fast. There's just nonstop. It doesn't even matter what time it is. And they have no tip baiting. Whereas Uber Eats has less traffic here, and they do have tip baiting. So,
But let me ask. You
yeah,
this: Have you ever been tip baited?
1.5 times. What I
One
mean
and
by
a
that is
half times.
one got fully pulled back, and one of them was half reduced.
See, a half reduction even makes less sense to me. It's almost like you knew you didn't have the right amount of money, but you
That's
still went through with the tip, but you over
yeah.
tipped it. I mean,
I'll make it even better for you. It was a $20 tip, and they reduced it to $18, and it was a shop and deliver. Because 2 items I couldn't get because they simply weren't there, so they took it out on me.
wow, that is
Correct.
some
Yeah.
messed up petty math going on in
Well,
somebody's
they
head.
tell you
Go
that up
two
front too.
items, take $2 off his tip.
That's what they did.
Jesus.
That was just a few weeks ago. If you can believe it, I was like, "No, wait a minute." I even took a picture of the shelf. They haven't had spaghetti from Campbell's in 3 weeks. I even typed it to them.
Yeah.
They're not stocking the shelf. I took a picture of the shelf. Uh, $20 tip, reduced 18. Customer reduced tip. I'm like, huh. Well, you see, DoorDash won't do that. They just give you that stupid email. You only found this many percentage of the items. I'm like, shut up. That's what I think. I wish there was somebody I could call and say, just shut up. If it's not there, it's not there. Now, let's not forget there are people that don't know how to find things. And
No,
that's the
but
problem.
it's weird to me that like
Yeah.
I haven't done many, but it's weird to me that like DoorDash metrics for when you're doing shop and delivers are more difficult than Instacart, who has only done this forever. And it's not a
Yeah.
plug for Instacart because they suck too.
Oh, they suck bad here. It's
But
just
my point is, it's weird to me
ugly.
that there's like it's harder to understand the DoorDash delivery metrics than Instacart, which only does grocery.
No, not here.
It's
Not
oh, you
here.
don't get those weird metrics in DoorDash?
No, I mean, Instacart does more than grocery here, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah, they actually do.
yeah. Well, Instacart
Yeah.
and Uber Eats teamed up too, but I think that's through the Uber. I don't even
I
remember.
don't. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I can't speak to it. They just do a little bit more. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. That's not the. I'm not getting into that conversation because I don't know more than 20% of it. But we
Yeah,
have deliveries here that have to do with packages and shit like that on Instacart, and it's weird. I haven't taken an order on there in so long. Actually, it's bizarre that they even do it because they don't show you the full miles. It's like the miles that they show are from the merchant to the drop, They don't show you the miles from where you're at to the merchant to the drop here. It's just like it says 26 miles. I still got to drive 10, so that's 36. I'll just add the 10 myself. Thank you very much. Go fuck yourself. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
So most of them are just a hard no on Instacart. It's sad too because straight app in my mind, there's like lots of opportunities, but they're all like, we'll show you the upfront pay and the tip, and then we'll tell you all the stuff that you're picking up, like 3 cases of water, before you even accept, which DoorDash and Uber Eats clearly don't do. After you've accepted it, you find out, but not before. So it's like this transparency thing has got to be fixed. That's why I'm with you. It's just got to be fixed.
I'm looking at not even sure what TMJ news out of Milwaukee is, but I'm looking at that incident about that person with the car who got chased. That you talked about it. Who got, she didn't make the delivery, so the lady came and trashed her car. Now they're saying it's $10,000 worth of damage. But I'm reading right here. This is as of today. Milwaukee police executed a search warrant on DoorDash. This goes to what we were talking about with that. Like, dude, she would have not been attacked had the DoorDash app not given her location to the person who trashed her car.
But don't we go back right there to the beginning of like just drop the damn order and like get to a signal and kill it? Like kill it. Right,
yeah, but I'm glad she didn't, man. I'm glad this is happening because now there's a search warrant that's going into something I think it should. Like, hey, how did she, like, because this is a whole new one. How did she find this lady whose car she did $10,000 worth of damage to? Oh, that'd be through our app. What?
Ooh, all right. There's always
again, that's to see that to see that a search warrant was even executed lets me know that their prosecutors know we at least have to look into this shit, because
I noticed the story died real fast after.
Yeah, that's why I just saw this is from today.
Oh, really?
August 19th. Is that today?
No, well, it was kind of
like it was yesterday
ago, but yeah. But no, it's still a good point. I mean, is anybody going to look into it? That's the question.
No, they are. Yeah.
Good. They should.
Prosecutors have charged the lady who did it, Jones, with criminal damage to property and disorderly conduct after she allegedly used the DoorDash app to locate a driver whose service was interrupted during a delivery in July. Yes, I think it was Bubba Sue had told me her phone had been turned off, but this was like a 1:30 in the morning thing. I was thinking, whose phone gets turned off that time, and who would have a 2024 car? But nonetheless, it does. Again, in the end, it doesn't matter. What if one of us broke our phone or lost our phone? It's still DoorDash's job to keep us safe.
We went right back to the beginning of where all this shit is supposed to make sense. Thank you very much. Exactly right.
They can't even do that. And it's the one thing they should fucking do. And they can't even do that.
I thought it was bad enough that we're not supposed to be texting while we're driving to the customer, but yet we're supposed to be declining or accepting offers doing 70 on the highway. And now we got this.
So here is a little more, Bubba Sue. You were saying that maybe her phone got deactivated. So here is a little more, but, and I think this doesn't sound like BS to me, but the dasher was, Morris was her last name. So her phone did die, maybe something about non-payment. I can't remember. It says that her phone service had an interruption. But so she said when she returned home, she knew to connect her phone to her Wi-Fi and cancel the order. So that's why she did all that. It was 1:30 in the morning. There's probably not other places to grab your Wi-Fi.
You can cancel your order after you've accepted it and confirm pickup?
I think it just meant to connect to Wi-Fi and cancel the order.
I'm confused.
Well, I mean, I guess how else do you word it? You'd have to word this whole situation and say, hey, I drove up there and my phone died. And as I entered the neighborhood, I had no clue which one it was.
That's sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, and so here's something that I know you pointed this out on your video about, I think it's weird that the lady keeps saying chicken wings. And so I started thinking about it in a different way. And I was like, Maybe that is the point, though. Maybe it's why, if I was going to steal food, why would it be 10 chicken wings? Not that she should even have to use that defense. I'm just saying.
Well, obviously, I think the media played a part in that, and that's just my opinion. I got nothing to back it on, but your
I'm
point
just
is
saying,
valid.
if
Your
it
point
was,
is valid.
my point was, if it's $400 worth of food, that's a different, and I'm not saying she's guilty or not. I'm just saying that's a different aspect you can bring into the case.
Anybody you know where this case is at right now?
No, I'm reading it right now. It's
I'm just kind of curious where it's going, if it's going,
oh
or if
yeah,
it's been dropped or whatever.
no, she's arrested right now with those charges I just told you.
Oh, she got arrested.
Oh yeah, the lady who did it.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is from today though. Prosecutor, that's what I'm saying. This is, or from the 19th, yesterday. A Milwaukee, this is from yesterday's news, and this is the article. A Milwaukee woman is facing felony charges after tracking a DoorDash delivery driver to her home and causing $10,000 in damage to her vehicle.
Is anybody going to look at DoorDash for this? That's my question.
That's what I was saying. That's why they. Yeah, I mean, when I was bringing that point up, I was into the part about what the prosecutors were doing here, and then it said Milwaukee police had to serve and execute a search warrant to DoorDash.
Nice.
To me, I mean, that's something you don't hear much.
No, ever. Actually, that's unprecedented, at least in the media.
So, I mean,
yeah. I mean, honestly, there's got to be somebody has to be at fault here. I don't know who, but somebody. It's not going to end well for somebody. That's my like who? Who is it going to be? Because that's going to set another precedent. Don't you think?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I mean,
the person who did it, she's, like I said, she's charged with criminal damage to property and disorderly conduct, and there's still more charges to come, but she is in custody. And again, here's that quote from the person whose car got destroyed. She said she did this over a 10-piece chicken wing. And then I don't know what the add-on part is also in the same quote. It says she passed Friars to come here.
I don't know what that's got to do with
Friars must be a chicken restaurant or something. And
I think that's got to do with anything.
She passed chicken on the way here. Otherwise, she just didn't get new chicken.
Can you see the lawyer saying this? Judge, it was just 10 pieces of chicken wings. The judge is going to make an, oh, really? Oh, it wasn't a 12-piece?
Well, no, I don't think, but I mean,
I'm being sarcastic.
The lawyer has to be ready, because what if the prosecutor, or what if the defense for DoorDash were to say, or what if anybody in this case were to say, is it not known that often, and they would use the word often, or on many occasions, your DoorDashers have stolen food from people? That might be, he wouldn't come in like, it was just 10 pieces of chicken, motherfucker. Like, it wouldn't be like that, but it might be where he steps in and goes, again, they're talking about a scenario that doesn't belong here. Also, we are talking about a very small.
Also, be hearsay.
Yeah.
How about showing a case where the food was stolen and somebody was prosecuted for it before bringing it up as an argumentative piece to solve a problem with this case? I mean, theft is bad, yes, but is there any case on it? Like somebody got sued because they stole somebody's order? No. They got the
no. Somebody got arrested and is about to have their ass handed to them for doing $10,000 worth of damage to a new car.
That's what we're talking about, exactly. We're not talking about theft here.
But the the best part of this article isn't any of that. The best part is that DoorDash had a search warrant served to him.
I just can't wait to find out more about that part.
Because that, again, it's like the study we were talking about from Rice University. Like they wouldn't have worded it like that 2 years ago. Okay, well, prosecutors wouldn't have known to serve a search warrant to a Switch-based app platform.
Until now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But somebody thought of it and said, you know what? Let's go after DoorDash here.
Right.
They gave up her information. The lady got attacked only because of the app. Let's bring them into this.
At least something there made sense on their end of it. I'm like, you know what? Enough with the 10 chicken wings in my mind. My mind is like, the app is supposed to be the driver's safety is key. So how the driver get their car screwed up, even knowing that that's almost irrelevant in itself, other than the fact that the app let it happen. The chicken wings, 52-inch TV, whatever it was.
Chicken wings.
I'm like, who gives a shit about what it was? I mean, if I was to attack a car and vandalize it, nobody's going to give a shit why I vandalize it. I just broke the fucking law. You know what I mean?
For sure,
I broke the law. That's a felony to vandalize somebody's car. That is actually a felony. And on top of that, why did they do it? They had access to your whereabouts to go find your car. That's why I love this idea of search warrant. It's like, we're going to have to find out why this happened. Not like the chicken wings, but like why it happened. How did this person have access to that person's location? Right. DoorDash is all about safety and transparency. Cough, cough. So like,
again, another thing that was discussed on here tonight was the tweaker that ran into the trees. Was he trying to get to the delivery on time to not be penalized?
Dude, that's it's just major all the way around. I mean, the Trojan horse of facts that just walked into DoorDash's ass. You know what I mean? I mean, we're talking about serious anal issues here. When all these facts, like, I know they got probably the best lawyers on the planet, the most money to spend on them. But at some point, isn't there going to be one judge that looks at this and says, well, there's clearly something wrong here? You know what I mean? I get it that everybody's being paid in full for their bullshit stories, but I gotta like be a judge at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It just seems logical to me, but maybe that's the problem of being logical. That's also a possibility. Being logical doesn't always work. So.
You guys, it's always a cliffhanger moment, but we're going to get cut off here in any seconds. And always fun. This allows us to talk freely, too. So those that wanted to join, by the way, I saw a couple people wanting to join.
We absolutely... He's here.
Oh, but I would have brought you up, but you came in the last 10 minutes. So come in earlier next time, guys. I'll absolutely bring you up, but y'all have a great evening because we're getting cut off in 7, 6, 5.